Again, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, for Facebook Live, pretend like you're enthusiastic and you're enjoying yourself this morning. Okay, we're ready? Excellent stuff. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SensAbility! Oh my God! Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I am overwhelmed by the fake enthusiasm this morning. That is fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is brilliant. How are we? We're obviously clearly brilliant, right? That's amazing. If anybody wants to fall asleep, I promise you I will find you and pick on you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second day of SensAbility! For us, we've got an incredible series of workshops and lineups still today and still to come. The best is yet to come. But I hope you enjoyed yesterday. We had incredible speakers, workshops. We had an awful lot of networking. Networking as in the open bar last night, the gala dinner, and obviously our fuck-up night, which was went down really well, so we're very, very pleased to have been able to host you for that. So today, to get the show on the road, because we're already a little bit behind, we're going to introduce our first speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, would you put your hands together? Speaking on maximize your impact by earning money, maybe. We don't know. We haven't discussed it quite yet. He might talk about that topic. He might not. Actually, have you all got a question? Your questions will be answered, ladies and gentlemen, by our next speaker. They might not again. Ladies and gentlemen, would you put your hands together for Sebastian Grothaus?
Thank you. So, thank you, Chris, for this moderation. And thank you, I want to say thank you to the organizing team of SensAbility. You've done a great job. I enjoyed the day yesterday. And compliment for choosing this moderator. Excellent stuff.
My mic's still live.
So, my biggest speech until now was at my wedding party. There were 100 people. It went 5 minutes and it was in German. So let's see how I deal with this challenge today. I know it's early in the morning, but still we're going to discuss a topic that's not necessarily the most entertaining or pleasant in the world. We're going to talk about money. But first, I want to share two quick lessons with you. Until I was like 32 years old, I had a very pleasant and easy life. I studied still. I studied sports in Cologne, and I worked part-time for the German TV sports broadcaster ARD Sportschau, so I had a very easy life working and watching football. So it was a typical student's life as a single, and I was quite lazy. But there was this little voice inside my head that asked questions like, is that all you can give? Is that all you want to do for the rest of your life? And so I decided to bring more sense into my life, to become an entrepreneur, to do something meaningful. So my first message is, it's never too late to change direction if your heart tells you that you should do something else. In the middle of this changing process, I got to know my wife and my business partner, Dirk. And no, they're not the same people. There's Dirk, say hello. And we started to work together because we had developed the same passion for personal development and entrepreneurship and financial literacy. And we started to invest together. We were quite successful, but still that wasn't enough for me. So my second message is, you need a deeper motivation, a strong why if you really want to achieve something big. I now have two sons, a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. So as you can imagine, my life looks quite different compared to the life I had a few years ago. And the question that is always on my mind and driving me through good and bad times, and I had many bad times and I stuck to it and it was worth it, is how is the world going to look like in the future? In the 2050s, my sons are going to be as old as I am now. in what world are we going to live in? What is the world going to look like in 20, 30, or 40 years? And we are all going to live in this world. Is it going to look like the left side, or is it going to look like the right side? So it is always good advice to have a strong why, especially if this why pops up in front of your eyes every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, even in the weekends, asking for entertainment. So what is Good Profits doing? We offer an investment opportunity to retail investors. It means people like you and me. These investors receive a fixed yield of 6% without any fees or hidden pitfalls, so it's very easy and transparent. And we invest that money in companies that benefit the world, because we all know that companies have huge power and are the most powerful organizations in the world. We know they can have very huge impact on a bad way, but also in a good way. And so we decided to invest in those companies that have a good impact. And those companies provide a social yield. And this social yield, that's why we are here. That's why we spend our weekends at conferences like SensAbility, a cleaner environment, less poverty, better education, jobs for disabled people or refugees. But they also provide a monetary yield, profits, and we use these profits to reinvest them and to invest in more companies that provide more good impact. I really like this quote from Muhammad Yunus. He was the first one who explained the concept of social businesses. And I want to show you the difference between a charity dollar and a social business dollar. Here I have a charity dollar. Who of you is running a charity or an NGO or a non-profit organization? Someone? You? Okay. Now I have these 5 euros. I want to do something good with it. So I give you the money, and he's doing something good with it. Great job. So as we heard yesterday from Matthias and from Marcus, it's not always the best option to start a social business. You don't have to start a social business if you want to do something good. We need charities, and they're very, very important. But today I want to show you the difference. So you keep the money, you've done something good with it. That's okay. But now I have another 5 euros, and I want to give those to a social business dollar, to a social business. You're running a social business? Okay, let's say you're running a social business that is at least financially self-sustainable. So I give... No, you don't? Is somebody running a social business here? Oh. So I'll give you that money. And now he's doing something good. He's doing something good with it. He's growing his company, and he's having an impact. Did I mention that I'm not a donator anymore? No, I'm an investor. So give me back my 10 euros, please.
It takes a while.
Did I say 10? No. Please give me back my 5 euros. This depends on the type of investor you have, but that's a topic for another day. But now I have got my 5 euros back, and they have done something good. And now I can do the same with another company, and another company, and another company. So it's almost like money recycling. And earning profits to reinvest them, to achieve even more impact, seems very obvious. So obvious that it's almost useless stressing this point. And yet, I've named my speech, Maximize Your Impact by Earning Money. Because in many, many talks I've had with social entrepreneurs, it is not obvious that it can be an advantage to earn profits, to be at least financially self-sustainable. And I notice that again and again and again, and it really bothers me. And by the way, in these talks I've had, I found out that there's another need that almost every social entrepreneur has. And we decided to address that need with our network and our expertise. So this is an announcement. We founded a joint venture with the Beaming Group, run by Jens Schneiders in North Rhine-Westphalia. And he has very ambitious plans to push social entrepreneurship. So we are going to offer services, coaching, and consulting to help social entrepreneurs find the right financing strategy, the right financing tools. So any one of you interested, go to beaming.finance and leave me a message. I'll get back to you. So let's dive a bit deeper into the topic. I'm not very philosophical. I'm a practical guy. I like to keep things as simple as possible. What I know is to increase your impact, you need to scale. And to scale, you need money. And the more professional you are, and the more profitable your business is, the more money you have, or are able to acquire from the outside. We shouldn't live in a bubble. We all need money. If we want to achieve goals, we need money for. As social entrepreneurs, our task is to steer as many resources as possible into the right direction. Thoughts, ideas, manpower, and money. And with these resources, we create impact. So, money is a kind of energy. And it is important to understand that so much depends on your inner attitude towards it. And it doesn't help to ignore that fact. So, I brought a few quick examples of successful for-profit social businesses. And by the way, we invested in two of them, Africa Green Tech and Interface. And at AFB, at least, we're customers. So AFB, what is AFB doing? Someone knows AFB here? Okay. AFB, they collect used IT hardware, erase the data, and then restore this hardware to sell it. And AFB in German means Arbeit für Behinderte, work for disabled people. So most of their 300 employees are disabled. And they produce 13 million in revenue and are growing and growing. And yes, I know they are GmbH. It means that they're not allowed to distribute profits to their investors, but they use their income from their business activities to reinvest them, to grow, and to achieve even more impact. Some of you will know this social business, founded by Thorsten Schreiber and his wife Aida. Africa Green Tech. They provide clean and affordable electricity, water filtration, sanitization, and so much more to poor people in countries as Mali and Niger. I know they have very, very ambitious plans, but those people, they're customers. They receive a value and they pay for it. So it's not traditional development assistance. It's a business. The last one, they don't call themselves a social business interface because they're big. They make carpet tiles. Doesn't sound very spectacular, but how they operate is very, very impressive. They're on the way to achieve their mission zero. That means being net positive on their environmental impact. And we're talking about a company that's worth $1.5 billion and have more than 3,000 employees. And they have very impressive environmental and social programs. For example, they're working on a carpet tile that absorbs and keeps the carbon. So the new program is Climate Take Back. Their social programs are very impressive, like networks where they buy discarded fishing nets from poor people in coastal areas, So those people literally get paid to make the oceans cleaner. Let's talk about advantages of a financially successful social enterprise. In the long run, you disburden the system. My point of view is that it's absolutely okay to get some help to get started, like grants, subsidies, or donations. But you don't want to go out every time to your funding sources and saying things like, please give me money so I can continue to do what I'm already doing. This position of entitlement drags you into a role of a victim, and that is not an advantage. If you want to be a social entrepreneur, please first be social to yourself. What do I mean? As a social entrepreneur, it is crucial that you believe in yourself. And you must show other people that you're worth it, that they believe in you. And it is very, very hard to do that if you don't know how to pay your bills. I know what I'm talking about. I've done this mistake, and I want you to avoid it. As social entrepreneurs, you need a lot of self-esteem and energy, and having money problems drags energy from you and from your mission. You simply attract a better team. If you are doing something good and are able to pay a good salary, you have access to the best people in the market, and that can be a huge advantage. And you can provide your team with more benefits, like further education or a good equipment. Bad equipment demotivates people, demotivates employees. A good equipment makes your team even better. And your position is simply getting stronger and stronger as you acquire the ability to get even more funding at better conditions, at your balance sheets, and your credit score improve. And you can use this position to get even more influence, to achieve even more impact. And you show that you can go the whole way until your mission is completed. You show that your business is built on sustainability. So, when you hear those words like influence and power and earning money, what do you feel? Do you feel like being on Wall Street, or do you feel like listening to Donald Trump or so? What I'm saying is that so much depends on your inner attitude. And money itself is neutral, as everything is. You can do. Can everybody read this? Yeah. So money itself is neutral, as everything is. You can do very good things with it, and you can do very bad things with it. It all depends on how you think of it. Imagine you have a big, sharp knife, and now you're thinking about what to do with it. If you're a bad person, you could do this, you can kill someone. Or you could prepare a good, tasty, and healthy meal. It's the same knife. But it's you as a person who decides what to do with it. I would never, never, ever say that money is the most important thing in the world. But you know when it is getting too important, when you're lacking it. Because then all you can think of is how to get money to pay your bills. And that applies for your personal lives as well as for your organizations. I want to ask you one question, but please just raise your hands and don't say anything. What do you think is more important, money or happiness? Okay, who thinks money is more important? Thought so. And who thinks happiness is more important? Okay, and who of you thinks that is one of the most stupid questions someone can ask? Who says you have to choose between one or the other? This is a very limiting way of thinking. And I would never tell you what to do, and I won't tell you what to think. But sometimes the best question to ask is not, is my way of thinking right? Sometimes it is better to ask, is my way of thinking helpful to achieve my goals? And by the way, I don't think that money corrupts characters. I think money is more like a magnifying glass. It makes characters more visible. People with much money have more opportunities to show their money, to show their real character. With much money, you can buy your third Ferrari, or you can build a hospital. You can oppress other people, or you can help other people. It all depends on you and your inner attitudes. Okay, to be a successful social entrepreneur, you need certain skills. And it doesn't help to ignore that you need those skills. Because your work, your results, your organization, your business, they are all a mirror of yourself and of your attitudes. I remember when Pep Guardiola became coach of Bayern Munich. And in his first press conference, suddenly he started to speak German. And the media went, oh, what a world-class coach, what a professional. And I thought, well, yeah, he knew months before then that he's going to be a coach of Bayern Munich. So he prepared. He acted like a professional. And I think as a social entrepreneur, you should do the same. And you should acquire the skills that are needed to be successful. And there's especially one skill that many people have objections with. I'm talking about selling. So many people say, oh, I don't want to sell anything. I don't need to sell anything. I'm not a salesman, I'm not a saleswoman. But remember your first date with your partner? What did you do? Did you put on your oldest clothes? Did you shower before meeting? Did you say things like, well, I love to watch football 5 evenings in a week and I want you to bring me beer? I guess you didn't. And when asked the question, so why are you single, you wouldn't say, well, because I cheated on my last 5 boyfriends. No. You want the other person to buy something, to buy a product yourself. And you're always selling. That is selling. It is nothing wrong with it. When you don't sell, nobody will profit from your product or from your service. There are so many highly intelligent and talented people out there who fail because they cannot sell. And that is a pity, because those people could have a big positive impact if they could sell. So, I know we all, or you all, have the right intentions. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But if you really want to become a social entrepreneur and have an impact, please invest in yourself. Reflect on yourself. Reflect on your attitudes. Acquire entrepreneurial skills like leadership, marketing, networking, selling. And by the way, the best And a most efficient way to do that is to have the right coaches. We had a strategy coaching at the beginning, and it was wonderful. Without without this coach, we wouldn't exist as Good Prophets. My sales coach is here, and I'm very, very thankful. And I'm not planning to stop lessons because there is so much to learn. So please acquire those skills and invest in yourself. Because I believe in a very strong and a very simple formula. Strong people means strong results, means strong businesses, and in your case, as social entrepreneurs, strong impact. Thank you very much.
How was I caught out there? That's ridiculous. How are you? I have to give an opportunity for anybody to ask questions, but I'm really interested in one thing. You have an awful lot of social enterprise in the audience. What are the things that they need to do to convince you that they are the right investment? What are the things that I think, what would you like to see? Like if you had an elevator pitch, 30 seconds, what are the things do you need to see social enterprises, social entrepreneurs?
To be honest, an elevator pitch means, a good elevator pitch means that they have prepared professionally.
Yeah.
So it's the commitment, and it's like the skill and the commitment to prepare professionally.
Yeah.
So with a bad elevator pitch, I can see that this could be the best person in life and the best intentions, and it could be a great business model. But a bad elevator pitch means to me this person is not prepared.
So have your 30 seconds, know what you're trying to, yeah. And what would be the things that would be really good to try and get across to you? Like, what is it that you're most looking for from somebody in this audience? Like, what are the things that you'd really like to put up front there? Is it the impact, or the investment, or is it both, or what's the?
Well, it's the person. It's the entrepreneur.
Okay. The team.
It's always the entrepreneur. Well, and the team, and because it all begins here. It all begins here.
Yeah.
And with the right mindset.
Yeah.
And with the right commitment. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
And you can have the best idea if you're not, if you don't have this personal or this level of personal development.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. So that is the basics.
Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Brilliant. Have we any questions from the audience? We've got some microphones at the side. Any questions? You're the sales coach. Look at this. How's that been going? Is he all right? Is he doing well? Like as a student?
Yeah, well, most of the time he's just focusing on, give me some tools. But you know what you do? You focus on the attitude.
Awesome.
And I started at a very low level.
No, but this is interesting. It's like recognizing what it is that you want to be able to develop, and then matching with people and asking for help, right? That's half the battle.
Ask yourself, what skills do I need to achieve my goals?
Brilliant. Any questions in the audience? Yes, so we've, oh, good Lord. Can we start here and then, so start. Go on ahead.
Cheers. Hello. Yeah. Thanks for the talk. Super interesting. My question would be, in which cases would you say it makes sense to look for investment as a social business? It doesn't make sense for all businesses. So in which case, which is the criteria list that you would put?
The list is very long.
Yeah.
So it always depends on the special situation the startup is in, the team, the founders are in, and on how much money is needed, and what special skills or special advantages you want from an investor. for example, because there are business angels that just give money, or I don't know, some funds that just give money, and some have other really, really worthy criteria that they bring in.
Yeah.
So it always depends on what you need.
Good stuff. Excellent. Yes. We've got a question here. Yes. We'll wait for the microphone. We'll be fine. Yes.
Hey, thanks. I actually wanted to ask the same, but now I'm interested in how do you measure your impact? So at the one hand, there's the financial return, but then at the other hand, there's the impact, and how do you measure that?
Yes.
I know. Impact measuring is always a big topic. And, well, as I said, I'm more the practical guy. And there are many cases for social entrepreneurs where impact measurement is very, very important to get to some funding sources or to show, well, we're having this and this and this impact. We, as an investment firm, we don't measure our impact, but the companies we invest in, mostly they measure it. For example, Africa Green Tech has a rating that they're having a positive impact on the environment. And well, we are not measuring impact. To me, in most cases, when you don't really feel after 1 minute that there is a lot of impact, it's not very interesting to me. So we don't have that kind of special measures.
Good stuff. Do you think that there's an element where, is that something you're going to look at in future, or like, are you aware of other things? Like, would you like to see different impacts more than others? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're essentially giving an awful lot of opportunity to the expert in the field, hopefully the social entrepreneur that's setting that up, who's providing you that impact, and you're just questioning their justification more than telling them what they need to do, right?
Well, it's always the entrepreneur is always the one who's
hopefully on the ground,
who's in with this with his whole heart,
yeah.
And it is his mission, and he knows best how to help society or environment. So that's not our case. We are there to help to get the right finances.
Okay. Great stuff. Excellent. Was there a microphone? Oh, it's gone. It's in the. Oh, here, I'll get that. I'm double jobbing, huh? There you go.
Thanks. I think my question is turned into a comment just because the original question at the beginning of your talk, I was wondering what kinds of companies that you do invest in. And so you gave some examples of that. And maybe just to compare a related experience I had about a year ago, my partner was looking at some different social index funds to invest in. And at first, it sounded like those funds were really going to be very beneficial. But as we looked into the types of companies that those funds were actually composed of, it turned out to be things like McDonald's and other companies. And so anyway, at first, it was surprising to realize that these weren't the kinds of things that at least we had in our minds. So it's nice to be aware of companies and efforts of things that you're doing.
Okay, so. Thank you. Now I've been listening very carefully, and I've been in the middle of the discussions of what is impact investing, and the German what is it called, Dachverband? They're forming the impact investing, and they're discussing how do we define impact investing? Do we define it like this, so it is real impact investing, or do we define it like this, so more money comes in? And McDonald's is not impact investing. And to be honest, what we do, well, is it impact investing? Is it not impact investing? I don't.
You're a bit more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care how we call it.
Yeah.
We invest in companies that do something good for the world.
Yeah.
And
you're not being so strict.
Yeah.
On that.
Well, not being so strict, because we wouldn't invest in McDonald's or Deutsche Bank or I don't know.
Yeah.
Although they have very good CSR.
Sure, and returns and all that.
That's another company. That's another topic.
Excellent stuff. Yes, question. Can we feed the microphone up? Thanks.
Return of 6% for your
Yeah.
investors, you say. So I think that's quite ambitious, considering that some of the companies maybe will fail eventually. So what do you expect for minimum return for a social enterprise where you invest in?
Yeah, as you may have noticed, there are businesses like Africa Green Tech. Africa Green Tech is our biggest investment yet. So this is money that doesn't provide any cash flow, and we have to stay in there for a long time, and we want to stay in there for a long time. And that's where we combine our investments with direct investments and on the stock market. Like Interface is publicly traded on the stock market. And those companies, those investments give us the cash flow, give us the possibilities to have that money ready when it's needed.
It's a diversified portfolio. Like
Yes.
you spread it all across so that
Yes.
it makes sure that you're balancing the risk. Is that right? Is that the question you were asking? The 6%?
Well, yeah, we don't
They mix
like
it.
lending money. We don't give you money as a social business. We don't
You
give
want
you
a
money
return.
and say
Take
we want
equity.
a return of 10%.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do that because that's not a win-win situation.
Not like a loan, so it's investments here.
It's investment.
Yeah. Good stuff. Is that?
Yeah, well, I just think 6% for social enterprises is nowadays, you know, in the low interest environment, quite ambitious. So I was just surprised about this high
Yeah, but you
return.
yeah, but interest and the yield you get in a bank, interest, that's not the same as an equity investment.
For sure.
Because we don't loan or we don't have our money in the banks. It's working in equity investments mostly, and that's not the same in a low interest environment. 6%. Yeah, it would be quite ambitious if we just would lend the money to social businesses, and that wouldn't be very realistic. But that's not the way we do it.
Yep. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Yes. Any final questions? Yes.
Sort of follow-up question. Who are the typical investors in your fund? And can we also invest? And just
Yes.
what type of organizations or are they individuals who do that?
Mostly individuals. So we have two possibilities to invest. One is begins at 5,000 euros at 6%, and it goes 2 years. So it goes 2 years, and that's a reason why we don't invest only in companies that are not publicly traded, because that wouldn't work. So it's 5,000 euros, 6%, and 2 years, and no fees, no hidden pitfalls, nothing else. And the other investment opportunity we have is it's named Starter. So it begins at 1,000 euro, and there's 4% yield.
Terms and conditions apply. Investments may fall as well as rise. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please thank our speaker, Sebastian, for coming in and speaking today. But to do that, I also, there's a little present. Oh, can I have your wife, business partner on stage, Dirk? Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome Dirk from Good Profits and Sebastian? Please welcome on stage. Hey. Excellent stuff. As a token of our appreciation, this is you 10 minutes ago.
To give him a kiss. Huh?
This is your alcohol.
That's for him.
That's him. I love the way they divide this, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get a photograph in the front row? Awesome. Excellent stuff. Thank you. I deeply appreciate this speech, but it's not just that. None of this could happen if it weren't for the likes of the support for what you guys are delivering. And I realized that I was chatting to you last night. You were saying that the reason that you came back is because the amount of value that you got the previous years that you were here, and your little sort of investment was to give back by being a sponsor. that isn't a little investment. That's a huge investment. That's the reason why we're here today. So it's from us and the organising and all the people who are here. Thank you very much, because you're helping support the good work, and hopefully it'll continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, not just a sponsor and a good speaker, would you please put a round of applause for Sebastian and Dirk from Good Profits. Well done.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well done. Thank you very much. Brilliant.